Welcome. In this video, Chapter 1 of Arknights will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Arknights. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. The story resumes with a catastrophe cloud looming over the city of Chernobog. The group of Ace, Amiya, Doberman, the Doctor, Neural, and a handful of Rhodes Island guards are plotting on what to do next. Doberman dislikes the catastrophe hovering overhead, along with the Reunion soldiers lurking around the corners of the city. A medic tries to crack a joke about the situation, jokingly saying that the Reunion members think that it's perfect weather for a picnic. Neural doesn't realize that she was making a joke, and responds by explaining how the catastrophe will feast upon the members' bones. Neural then apologizes for not realizing it was a joke, with the medic doing the same for trying to make a joke in a serious time. Amiya says it's alright to the both of them, and that Rhodes Island wasn't founded for the sake of keeping everyone serious. Doberman gathers the attention of the group and suggests that they help out with scouting, with Doberman taking an enemy nearby and Ace wrapping around to take care of a group on the other side of the fortification. After the battle, the group passes by a clinic for the infected named Azazel, a clinic they've been to before but has recently been attacked by a Reunion. One of the guards explains that they refused to work with Rhodes Island even though they had access to Chernobog's entire underground intel network, with their connection to Reunion being unknown back then, and if they gave Rhodes Island any information, the group would have been out of the city by now. Amiya says that's not the entire story, but the guards still didn't like their cold and arrogant attitudes. Ace says that it makes sense for them not to trust anyone as they're infected. Amiya agrees with Ace. The doctor asks Amiya about Azazel. Amiya explains that it was a black market clinic that only provided for the infected, but had to keep themselves hidden because of the social status of the infected. She believes the clinic was wrecked due to them rejecting Reunion's proposals. Amiya continues on and explains how oropathy infects the infected, not only through the body but also socially, as it destroys the chance the infected have at living a normal life in society, as Chernobog, for example, fears, hates, exiles, and purges the infected. The infected are given few options between Rhodes Island, Reunion, or other organizations as they lost everything after becoming infected, making the infected the most hated people on Terra. Doberman also explains that Rhodes Island wants equality for all, while Reunion is infected-centric, then tells to leave the clinic behind along with her anger. Doberman announces that they have an hour left and can't afford to make a detour unless they want to get caught in the catastrophe. Doberman asks the doctor what their assessment of the situation is, with the doctor replying that it takes time for the enemy to regroup. Doberman agrees with the doctor as Reunion's communication methods are primitive at best. Neural then suggests that if they strike quickly, they won't regroup in time to catch them. The plan is to storm the Reunion group, disrupt their formation, destroy their firebase, and then fall back quickly. Doberman asks Amiya if she agrees with the doctor's decisions, as she still doesn't fully trust the doctor but acknowledges their abilities as a commander. Amiya trusts the doctor's decisions, and the group goes forward with the plan and launches it. The attack on the Reunion soldiers is successful as they're taken by surprise. The Rhodes Island team continues pushing through as Reunion soldiers regroup behind them, getting ready to attack. Doberman tells everyone to keep moving as they are almost out of Reunion-controlled territory. The group manages to lose the Reunion forces. Ace tells everyone to keep up the pace and they'll be out of the central region shortly, reaching the southern exit. Doberman notices Chernobog becoming more chaotic and noisy, possibly because the civilians trying to evacuate are running into Reunion. Ace remembers the plaza they're passing through, with it now being reduced to ruins, making the end to Chernobog almost poetic. Later, the Rhodes Island team comes across Reunion soldiers attacking civilians. Ace tells Amiya that they can't all be saved, nor can they leverage the terrain to their advantage. Doberman says they're too late. A Reunion member sees the team and launches an attack, with the Rhodes Island team now having to fight their way out. Mephisto reports into someone, saying that Rhodes Island doesn't know that Faust is following them, is trapped around the perimeter of the city center, how they may use the catastrophe to escape, and how they could possibly interfere with Reunion plans. Back on the ground, Rhodes Island team continues to fight with Reunion soldiers, with the number and irrational decisions made by the soldiers increasing. In the distance, a horned woman and Crown Slayer watch the fight. Back in the fight, meteorites begin falling from the sky, with one of Rhodes Island's guards noticing that they're coming from the buildings. The Reunion soldiers are overjoyed by the meteorites, saying that their salvation and judgment day has come. All the while, they're being crushed by the rocks. Doberman is still confused on where the meteorites are coming from, but before she can finish her thought, Amiya directs her attention to the sky as more rain down. Quote, "The sky was dyed a bloody crimson, boiling dark clouds tumbling in flames. As terror strips away their voices, the land falls into silence. The titanic originum lowers its head and falls upon the scourged shadow of death." Crown Slayer interrupts the horned woman, Tallulah's, dialogue asking what they should do next. Tallulah believes that Rhodes Island may survive the catastrophe and to finish off the survivors. Doberman is surprised that Reunion would completely destroy Chernobog rather than it being vengeance. It seems more like a manifesto. Amiya orders all teams to weather the catastrophe. The team is still dodging and taking cover from the meteorites, destroying buildings and crushing Reunion soldiers around them. A meteorite comes down towards the medic, with the doctor pushing her out of the way before the meteorite can hit her. Before the meteorite can hit the doctor, however, Neural rushes to their side and blocks it, saving the doctor. The doctor thanks Neural for protecting them, and Neural scorns them for putting themselves in danger without at least taking her to protect them. The team survives the first impact, but Doberman warns everyone to be careful as no one knows how long the catastrophe will continue for. However, they were lucky enough not to be caught dead in the middle of it. As they begin moving, Reunion soldiers begin regaining consciousness and attack the Rhodes Island team at first sight. Doberman tells the team to suppress the Reunion soldiers and immediately relocate. The catastrophe begins to weaken in intensity as the team shakes off the Reunion soldiers. The streets of Chernobog are buried beneath rubble, collapsed buildings block the roads, and Originum begins to metastasize. Ace tells everyone, "They're here," as a large Reunion force surrounds the Rhodes Island team, outnumbering them 10-1 and blocking off every exit. The team begins to panic due to the sheer number of Reunion soldiers around them. Neural suggests not to stop moving, as if they stop in a wide open area, they're all done for, and tells everyone to take defensive formations. The Reunion soldiers suddenly stop moving, with the wall of soldiers splitting apart so that Tallulah may come through. Tallulah alone approaches the Rhodes Island defensive line. Amiya recognizes her, but can't get the words out. Neural notices something strange about her scent, the smell of steel and sulfur, as if something were burning. Amiya finally manages to get the words out, telling everyone to be on maximum alert, because, with Doberman finishing her sentence, that person is Reunion's ruler, Tallulah. Neural believes that her flames are powerful enough to swallow Terra entirely. Neural tells Amiya to take the doctor and run, but Amiya refuses to leave Neural behind. Neural tries to persuade Amiya, as she believes that everyone in the team can feel that they'll die here, as Tallulah is a living monster. Amiya says they'll be fine if the team stands together, but Neural reminds her about the safety of the doctor. Neural commands Team E4 to hold the line as Amiya, the doctor, and the medic teams escape safely. Ace volunteers his squad to handle it instead, with Neural telling Ace not to argue and be rational. Amiya still refuses to leave Team E4 to fight alone, saying she doesn't want to see Rhodes Island sacrifice anyone as Tallulah prepares to use her arts. Heat comes from Tallulah's hand, creating a superheated air around her, and launches her arts at Neural, telling her to be silent, and breaks Neural's armor in the process. Neural tells the others not to worry. Doberman tells her not to fight anymore, as Neural doesn't have a single piece of armor on her anymore. Ace shouts for everyone to get down as she launches her arts at Neural and Ace, but narrowly misses the two, the entire block melting from Tallulah's invisible flames. Ace commands snipers to take aim at the enemy. Tallulah tells the Rhodes Island team that resistance will usher in hope to this land, but it will not change their fate. Ace tells the snipers to fire, but the projectiles are vaporized by Tallulah's arts. Tallulah announces that Reunion's work is done and that the Rhodes Island group has proved interesting, telling Rhodes Island that they should have taken the side of the infected. Tallulah begins to take aim at the team while they try to retreat. Doberman tells everyone to protect the Doctor and Amiya, and Neural tries to block Tallulah's arts. Just as Tallulah unleashes her arts, Amiya tells her that she will not hurt them. Amiya unleashes her own arts, which are strong enough to hold Tallulah's arts at bay for the time being. Dark matter begins to seal Tallulah's arts within the plaza, but Amiya's barrier starts catching on fire. In the end, Amiya is overwhelmed by Tallulah's arts. Everyone save for Ace retreats. Ace's final lines while the team escapes can be heard by the Doctor. Quote, "I'm sorry, Doctor. You might not remember me, but I remember you, and I know what kind of person you are. There will come a day when you and Amiya will face this cruel land together. This is why you must cherish her, Doctor. Let's go. Godspeed." The Rhodes Island team is able to break through Reunion's encirclement. The team tries to keep Amiya from hearing things so as not to burden her further after she passes out. Neural rallies what troops are left as they're almost at the exit. Amiya asks the Doctor what happened after she lost consciousness, asking what happened to Ace and the others. The Doctor stays silent, but Amiya believes that Ace will be fine. The team is almost at the south exit. Tallulah finishes her fight with Ace. Mephisto is surprised that Ace was able to continue fighting, as half the city was burnt to ashes. The plaza became a sea of flame, steel was melting, but he was able to continue fighting. Tallulah will remember this fight. Before they're able to reach the southern exit, the Rhodes Island team is once again blocked by Reunion soldiers and a white-haired roach who commands them. Doberman tells the white-haired roach that they've contacted the OPD, and they'll be joining them shortly. Neural notices the roach is holding onto explosives, and Amiya asks who she is. The roach doesn't expect Amiya to know who she is, but the roach recognizes the Doctor. She has no love for Tallulah and admits she isn't even cut out for goaltending business, but for the sake of their future cooperation, she offers to exchange pleasantries first. The roach introduces herself as W, and she's waited a long time to see the Doctor. W has questions for the Doctor and asks for some alone time with them. Neural denies her request. W counters with some info Rhodes Island may be interested in, as they encountered some Rhodes Island scouts earlier. Amiya is glad for their safety. W asks Amiya if she's their leader, asking what kind of charm she holds over them, as they give their lives enthusiastically and unremorsably for Amiya. Amiya asks what W means. W says that none of them will be returning to her, following up to see if she's made Amiya mad. Amiya states that she's gone too far, which W welcomes, and the Doctor tells everyone to prepare for combat. After the battle, W revels in the combat as it's nostalgic for her, as she begins to remember who Amiya is. W tells the Rhodes Island team to shoo after she obtained what she came here for. A Reunion member protests, with W telling them that they can stay if they want, but it's their funeral. Amiya tries to continue the conversation, but W has become bored and tells Amiya she looks forward to seeing her again, and that she'll get the truth from the Doctor in the future. Doberman says they've missed the rendezvous time and to retreat back to Rhodes Island immediately. A flashback occurs, showing Ace and the last member of his team, a guard. The guard recounts how Tallulah single-handedly knocked away the others like they were toy bricks, cutting through defenders as if they were butter, and how Tallulah is a catastrophe incarnate. Ace begins to treat the wounds of the guard, when the guard asks what happened to Ace's arm. Ace says he's fine, as he still has one to use. The guard tells Ace to get to the rest of the team while he still can. Ace refuses, saying that he has to stop the monster first. The flashback ends and Amiya wakes up. She suddenly feels grief, and the medic nearby begins crying. Amiya comforts the medic, saying that the tears should be saved for when the war is over. The team heads home to the Rhodes Island landship. Thank you for watching. Please follow me on Twitter for updates on future videos, and please check out my other Arknights and Azure Lane videos as well.